I'm Peter Morrell with Jane Jansen and Dr. Wim Jansen. And our next guest is John Willard, whose grandfather, coincidentally, is Dr. John Willard, who came up with a unique product that has been helping the health of thousands of people for a long, long time. So we wanted John to come back and talk to us about it. Good morning, John Willard.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
So tell us about this, like I say, very unique product.
Sure. As you mentioned, it was invented by my grandfather, Dr. John Willard. He had a PhD in chemistry from Purdue University. He was obviously a longtime chemist, a bit of a chemistry prodigy. He grew up in eastern South Dakota in a small town and went to Purdue, and then went on to teach at Virginia Military Institute, and eventually worked on the Manhattan Project, the development of the atomic bomb. And so he was quite the chemist, and he invented this product in 1965. The product is actually a water additive. The name Willard Water is a bit of a misnomer because it is designed to be added to water. And we honestly still don't know exactly why it's doing what it's doing. We can do tests and we can determine what it's doing to the body, but we can't figure out exactly why it's doing it. But when it's added to water, it seems to be impacting the water and changing it in some ways to make it a more efficient delivery system in the body. And so what we see is a variety of effects from it. We see everything from better digestion to better nutrient absorption that goes to vitamins, minerals, all types of nutrients. We also see better antioxidant absorption. We see some recharging of antioxidants in the cells. And we also see better toxin removal. And we've been selling this product since 1946, so we must have been getting, since 1973 for 46 years. So he must have gotten something right.
We tend to live in a toxic environment, and more we see various health concerns because of the number of toxins that we're exposed to either in our food or our environment. Recently the connection of the weed killer Roundup to various types of cancers. Is detoxifying the body something you see as an important value?
Absolutely, and one of the first things that people will experience when they're drinking Willard Water is actually a slight detoxification. You're going to urinate a little more frequently, and what the Willard Water seems to be doing, we've done tests on the body, we've done tests on the cells individually as well, and what it seems to be doing is chemically communicating with the cells at some level. We still, once again, don't know exactly why it's doing what it's doing, and we sponsored cellular research tests at a cellular research lab in Oregon for 3 years, and the only thing we could figure out was it was working. But basically what it was doing was it was causing the cells to take in the good stuff and move the bad stuff out. And so that was a big part of the vitamin absorption that we were seeing, was also tied to vitamin retention and utilization. And that's something that's fairly important in how the product works. It isn't simply moving things through the cell walls better. It's actually causing the cells to hold on to them and use those nutrients more efficiently. But you're also right about the detoxification. The Willard Water, I've got this sort of long-running debate. I took over as CEO 8 years ago, and I'm now the third generation John Willard CEO. But I've had this long-running debate with this toxicologist in California about what Willard Water is actually doing. Is it helping to remove toxins, or is it making the drinking of toxins safer? And it seems like a semantic argument, but for me, what the Willard Water is actually doing is pulling out toxins. But for her, what it's doing is it means that your body's better equipped to deal with those toxins. And it sounds like a semantic argument, but we do know it's having a very demonstrable impact.
For the listeners out there, I mean, our cells normally, we have this what they call cellular respiration. Cells normally take in nutrients and get rid of toxins. That's a normal, healthy function. What you're saying is the Willard Water actually helps that process work better.
Yes, exactly. My grandfather, when he originally invented the product, he actually called it catalyst-activated water. And he was a chemist, and a catalyst is something that makes the chemical reaction work better. And that was the best way he could come up with to describe it, is that the Willard Water, it's not actually making the body do things. It's helping the body to do things better. And that's a very key distinction. It's, for example, the first thing he noticed was it was boosting the movement of platelets in the bloodstream very significantly. But then we started seeing that it's helping with digestion. It's helping to speed up the digestive process. So we have a lot of people who have digestive issues drinking Willard Water because it helps smooth out some of those processes. Once again, we have a lot of people who are vegetarians and vegans who are drinking Willard Water because they have problems with B vitamin absorption, for example. We have a lot of people who do that. So Willard Water, what it's doing is it's just helping your body do what it does just a little bit better. It just gives it a little bit more of a spark, and that's the best way to describe it.
It's kind of fine-tuning the natural engine so that it works more efficiently.
Yes, exactly. And my grandfather always said, but you're in the Northeast, so you probably know about like STP. We put STP in our gas tanks here in the Midwest, because especially during the winter, so that your car works a little bit better in cold conditions. And my grandfather always said it was sort of like STP for the body, that you put it in there and it would work just a little bit better.
And this is Willard Water is safe for anybody to put in their water. I would see it as beneficial for pets as well as children, and particularly again as we start getting older, our bodies aren't quite as efficient as they used to be. That adding Willard Water, particularly to gain nutrition, we were talking earlier about dementia and Alzheimer's. That lack of good nutrition can make a big difference in those conditions.
Yes, exactly. Willard Water is safe for all biological beings, and a lot of people have asked, why is it? It kind of comes off as almost like a snake oil because it affects different species. So you can see, for example, we use it in plants, we use it in animals, we use it in pets, we use it in humans. But it really makes sense because it affects it affects biological function. So all biological beings, organisms, are going to have an impact from Willard Water, and we see that impact from cells to microbes to plants to livestock to pets. In fact, in the pet market, the Whole Dog Journal has endorsed Willard Water twice in the last 10 years. There's an entire chapter in the Encyclopedia of Natural Pet Care. So Willard Water, it really does have the same impact on all biological beings. And you're right, we see that increase in nutrition all the way through it. One of the things I love to talk about is plants, because people always say, well, if humans are drinking, it could be the placebo effect, and I always say it's not going to turn you into Wonder Woman or Superman, and if people have this expectation that you're going to be able to leap over tall buildings when you drink Willard Water, and that's just not the case. You're simply getting better utilization of your vitamins, but we do see that in plants. We see a very significant increase in plant growth when Willard Water is added to the mix. We can also reduce chemical fertilizers, by as much as 50%, simply by spraying them with Willard Water, putting Willard Water in their water, because those plants are better utilizing the nutrients that are in the fertilizer already. So the same thing is happening in your body.
I think Peter's ears just majorly perked up because he's getting ready to get his seedlings
do some
going.
Gardening, yeah.
Getting ready for spring. Now
this it's not a nutrient in and of itself, so you don't need. This is kind of sparking reaction in cells, so you don't need a lot of this, right?
No, not at all. Actually, Willard Water is designed to be diluted, and so you put about 1/4 of a teaspoon into an 8-ounce glass of water, and do that about 4 times a day, and you'll have plenty of Willard Water in your diet. Usually what I tell people is just to keep it in your diet all day long and just drink it throughout the day. But yeah, it doesn't take a heck of a lot. Actually, what we're using on plants, we do a lot of international aid work in Africa, where we're partnering with international aid organizations to help farmers who don't have ready access to as much fertilizer, or who can't afford as much fertilizer, to get more out of their crops, to get more profitability out of their crops. And we put about 2 ounces of Willard Water into 50 gallons of water, and it has a significant impact on their fields.
Is it working on the plant or in the soil?
On the plant. It's helping, just like it's helping human beings, it's helping the plant's cells to better absorb and utilize it. We also see, interestingly enough, at the germination stage, that it seems to be stimulating germination and growth out of germination as well. Honestly, I still don't know exactly why that's happening, but people will soak if we soak the seeds in the dilute version of Willard Water for about 15 minutes before planting, we see significant differences in growth at the early stages.
Huh.
John, we got to take a quick break, and when we get back, lots more to talk about, but also want to have information as to how to contact the company, and also I understand you're offering a special. So everybody get their pens and paper ready. We'll be back in a moment with John Willard from Dr. Willard's Water. And welcome back to Holistic Healthline, your direct line to great health, and our special guest, John Willard of Dr. Willard's Water. Fantastic, absolutely amazing product that is safe. What's so neat is it's safe for everyone, no matter whether you're on medications or not. John, if you could give out, because we'll revisit this, but if you could give out the telephone number for your company, as well as I understand you have an offer to give to our listeners. Want to get that out, before we don't get to it.
Sure. We have a toll-free number. It's 888-379-4552. Once again, that's 888-379-4552. Or they can check out our website at drwillard.com. That's drwillard.com. A lot of great information on it. You can also just Google Willard Water. There's a number of places where you can buy it. You can buy it through Amazon, or you can buy it directly through us at drwillard.com. It all comes from the same place.
You got a number of different products, John. What's the difference between them?
That's one of the more common questions we get. My grandfather, when he started the development of the product, he was really trying to create a high-density trace mineral water. And the invention of Willard Water was actually a mistake. My grandfather always just called it dumb luck, because he was working on another product, and I won't bore your listeners with the long details of it, but the invention of it was a mistake. But when he first invented it, and he was actually drinking it and tested his blood cells for the effects of toxicity, and that's when he noticed the movement of the platelets in the bloodstream. He kind of went off on this sort of left turn and just researched that product for several years. But eventually, in the early 1970s, he came back to that notion of having a high-density trace mineral water. And so we have a Willard Water Clear, which is the original product that he invented. And we have a Willard Water Dark, and that dark product is the Willard Water infused with trace minerals. And interestingly enough, there's really no difference between the two of them in the side-by-side studies. And so it really just comes down to personal preference. Some people drink the clear, some people drink the dark. I always say if you feel like you've got enough trace minerals in your diet, or if you're taking something like a concentrate or something like that, the clear is the best product for you because it'll help your body absorb and utilize those things. But if you're not and you want more trace minerals in your diet, the dark is a really good solution for you.
And a lot of people are getting ready to, get their healthier diets going, get out there exercising, and to help, again, get rid of some of the detoxing of some of these negative things we're inhaling as we're out there running around, as well as to pull in those nutrients from the supplements that we're taking, as well as the healthier foods. It would be important to add Willard Water into their daily regime.
Yes, and we talk a lot about that. The Willard Water, the great thing about it is that you can really add it to any regimen that you're already using. Whatever you're taking, Willard Water will actually help your body better absorb it, but also pull it out. So a lot of people, of course, ask, is it safe to take with medications? It's very safe to take with medications. It helps your body sort of regulate what it needs. It's hard to describe that. It's sometimes hard for people to wrap their heads around that. But my grandfather always said Willard Water, what it's doing is not, for example, the absorption isn't happening in a vacuum. It's also pulling toxins out. And so it's not pushing a bunch of stuff in the cells. It's helping the cells to better regulate what's coming in and what's going out. So it's a very safe product. So we've been in business 46 years, and we've never had any problems. The 60 Minutes did a story on my grandfather in 1980. The FDA did a lot of research on it in the early 1980s. The U.S. Congress held a hearing on Willard Water in the 80s. So I always say that there's probably not a natural product on the market that's been vetted more than Willard Water.
And we found that a lot of professional athletes, as well as, the day-to-day, weekend warriors kind of thing, that they found that they get better performance utilizing the Willard Water.
Yes, it's the same concept. If you need more water, and for example, if you're running or if you're getting somewhat dehydrated, the Willard Water will help your body also absorb more water and retain more water. It's not just, as I said, nutrients and whatnot. It's helping the cells to bring in and keep what they need. So if you add Willard Water to your water when you're running or when you're exercising, you'll feel refreshed a lot faster.
And you do have some separate products for pets.
Yes, we do have a pet product line as well. Actually, the pet product line was inspired by my own story with my own dog. When I first took over, my wife and I at the time had just decided to adopt a Great Pyrenees from the Great Pyrenees Rescue, and we were trying to use the Willard Water, and I hate to say it, but it was really hard to use because there wasn't a specific pet product, and so you kind of had to know how to use it, and you had to know what to use it for. And honestly, I found that very frustrating. And so one of the first things I did was create a pet product line that made it easy for people to use the Willard Water products for their pets.
And again, this is something that I think particularly for, obviously anybody, but particularly I think for children today and elderly population, I think there's a lot of lack of nutrition. So the more help they can get, the better. And again, doesn't interfere with any medications. And so again, I encourage people. Can you give out your telephone number again and website, as well as, are you giving a special offer to the listeners?
Yes, it's funny you brought that up. I literally was just thinking about that. Like, holy heck, I've got to actually make sure that I give this. Yes. We're giving your listeners Holistic. If they type in the word Holistic, or if they use the word Holistic when they're buying, we'll give them 20% off the order. So Holistic, if you go to drwillard.com, drwillard.com, and you make a purchase through Dr. Willard and you type in Holistic, it'll give you 20% off. Or if you call us toll free, 888-379-4552. Once again, that's 888-379-4552. Use the word Holistic, and you'll get 20% off your purchase. We also provide free shipping, so it's a really good deal. It's the great thing about being in business for so long is we don't owe any money, so we're able to manufacture the product very cheaply, and we pass that savings on to our customers. We believe in it pretty strongly. My grandfather would always say that I didn't invent Willard Water to make rich people richer. I invented it to help people, and that was something he believed very strongly in, especially after he had played a role in developing the atomic bomb. He really wanted to have a positive legacy, and so we like to think we're maintaining that legacy today by keeping the price down so people can easily afford it.
I really encourage the listeners to go to the website. I find the story fascinating, and it's kind of laid out there on the website, and it makes for interesting reading.
And again, that's...
Well, I'll tell you, it is. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's drwillard.com. And again, if you didn't, if you're driving in your car and you can't write all this down, just go call the Tree of Life Wellness Center at 508-336-4242, and we will gladly give out the information. And if you missed the interview, it will be posted if you go to newsradiori.com. You can listen to the whole interview all over again later in the day.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you coming back.
Thank you so much for having me on. I loved it.
We hope you come back again soon. Thank you.
We will.
Take care.
Have a good day.